Welcome back to the Nature Cures podcast. You know, where we uncover the secrets of natural healing and holistic wellness and living your healthiest life naturally. So today, we're going to tackle a topic that might not be the most glamorous, but it's super important. We're talking constipation.
That's right.
And we're going to go into a deep dive today to understand this surprisingly common issue. And trust me, constipation's impact goes way beyond just bathroom trouble.
You're absolutely right.
So to help us get to the bottom of all things constipation, I've got joining me today.
Hi.
Okay, so first things first, let's define constipation. What exactly are we talking about here?
Well, that's actually a key point because, normal bowel movements, they can vary so much from person to person.
Right.
What really matters is your regularity, It's not about fitting into some arbitrary number of bathroom trips.
Okay, so how do we know then if things are a bit too sluggish besides the obvious?
Well, you might notice a coated tongue, bad breath, or even headaches and dizziness.
Really?
Yeah, and believe it or not, skin problems can also be linked to constipation.
Wow, I had no idea. So we're talking about a much bigger picture than just discomfort,
Yeah.
right? What's the connection between constipation and these other health issues?
It all comes down to the buildup of toxins when waste isn't eliminated regularly.
Okay.
Think of it this way. Your body's constantly working to detoxify itself, but if the exit route is backed up, those toxins can start to affect other systems, leading to those seemingly unrelated problems.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. So what's at the root of this widespread constipation issue then?
Often it comes down to two main culprits, diet and lifestyle.
Okay.
Modern diets, unfortunately, can be pretty low in fiber. We're not getting enough of that roughage that keeps things moving.
Right. It's easy to fall into the trap of processed foods and miss out on those high-fiber fruits and veggies and whole grains.
Exactly. And on top of that, many of us don't drink enough water, eat too much meat, or rely heavily on coffee and tea.
Oh, yeah.
All of these can contribute to constipation.
It's like a perfect storm of habits working against our digestive systems.
And let's not forget the impact of stress and a lack of movement, rushing through meals, feeling constantly on edge, not getting enough exercise. All of these can throw our bodies out of whack.
So it really is a holistic issue impacting our physical and mental well-being.
Absolutely.
Which makes me even more curious about those natural remedies you mentioned.
Yeah.
Where do we even begin to tackle this naturally?
This is where it gets exciting because nature provides us with some powerful tools. But before we jump into specifics, the foundation is always a healthy diet.
Okay.
Think whole grains, leafy greens, and plenty of fresh fruit.
Back to basics, but sometimes those are the most effective, right?
Absolutely. And within that framework, some foods have particularly potent effects on constipation.
Okay.
For example, bael fruit, which is native to India, has been used for centuries in traditional medicine.
Bael fruit, that's a new one for me. What's so special about it?
It has amazing cleansing properties known to clear out even old accumulated waste. You can find it in powder or supplement form, but it's also becoming more common to find fresh bael fruit in specialty markets.
Interesting. What about some more familiar fruits? Are there any everyday options that can help?
Absolutely. Pears are excellent. They're high in fiber and contain a natural laxative called sorbitol.
Okay.
Grapes are another great choice, especially for chronic constipation. They've got a combo of fiber sugar and organic acids that work together to get things moving. And then there's the humble guava.
Oh.
Eating it with the seeds provides extra roughage, which is what we're after.
So we're talking about adding these fruits to our daily routine, but is there anything else we should keep in mind when it comes to our eating habits?
One often overlooked factor is how we eat,
Okay.
Chewing thoroughly is key aim for at least 15 chews per mouthful to make digestion easier.
Wow.
And try to minimize those sugary treats. They can disrupt the balance of good bacteria in your gut.
Okay. I'm definitely guilty of not chewing enough. And I know I could cut back on sugar. What about hydration? I'm assuming that's important too.
Absolutely. Water is essential for keeping things flowing smoothly.
So we've covered a lot of ground on the dietary front, but I have a feeling there's more to this story, right? What about lifestyle changes that can help with constipation?
Yeah, there's a whole other dimension we can explore here, when it comes to constipation relief.
Okay.
True relief goes beyond just quick fixes. We need
Yeah.
to think long term.
I'm all ears. What are some lifestyle changes we can make to prevent this from becoming like a recurring issue?
Well, regular exercise is a game changer.
Definitely.
It literally helps things move through your system. And
Wow.
stress management is crucial. Chronic stress can really wreak havoc on our digestive systems. So finding healthy ways to cope is essential.
So, incorporating things like yoga and meditation, or even just spending time in nature to kind of de-stress.
Exactly. And here's a tip you might not expect.
Okay.
Establishing a consistent bathroom routine can also make a difference.
Now that's interesting. Explain that one.
Our bodies love routine,
Yeah.
So by setting aside a specific time each day for bowel movements, you can actually train your body to get into a regular rhythm.
It's like setting an alarm for your digestive system.
Exactly. Now we've talked about diet and lifestyle, but let's dive back into some more specific natural remedies.
Perfect, because I know our listeners are eager to hear about those.
One simple but effective remedy is linseed, also known as flaxseed.
Okay.
It's a fantastic source of both soluble and insoluble fiber.
Okay, linseed. I've heard of it, but honestly, I don't know much about it. What makes it so special for constipation?
Well, think of soluble fiber like a sponge. It absorbs water and forms a gel-like substance in your gut, which softens stool and makes it easier to pass.
Okay.
Insoluble fiber, on the other hand, adds bulk to your stool, which also aids in regularity.
So it's like a two-pronged approach.
Exactly. And using linseed is super simple. You can sprinkle it on yogurt or salads. But for constipation relief, I recommend swallowing a teaspoon of whole seeds with water before each meal.
Okay, that's easy enough. I love these practical tips.
Another natural remedy that can be very helpful is lime water.
Okay, lime water. Now, does that actually work?
Yes. The citric acid in lime juice acts as a mild laxative, and the water, of course, helps with hydration, which is crucial for overall digestive health.
So how do you make lime water?
It's simple. Squeeze the juice of half a lime into a glass of warm water. You can add a pinch of salt for electrolytes, and drink this first thing in the morning on an empty stomach for best results.
Got it. Now, you mentioned earlier some more holistic approaches like cold friction baths and yoga. Those seem a little more adventurous, I guess.
They're definitely worth exploring if you're looking for a more comprehensive approach.
Yeah.
Cold friction baths involve rubbing cold water on your body with a cloth or brush.
I have to admit that sounds a bit intense. What's the benefit there?
It might sound shocking at first, but it's actually quite invigorating.
Okay.
The idea is to stimulate circulation and boost your metabolism, which can indirectly benefit digestion.
Okay. I'm kind of picturing it now, and I have to admit it sounds kind of refreshing. What about yoga? Are there specific poses that are good for constipation?
There are several. One of the most effective is called Pavanamuktasana, or the wind-relieving pose. It involves lying on your back and bringing your knees toward your chest, holding them with your hands.
I've actually done that pose before, and it does feel really good on the belly.
Another great one is Matsyasana, or the fish pose. It's a back bend that helps stretch the abdominal muscles and stimulate digestion. And then there's Halasana, or the plow pose, which involves bringing your legs overhead and touching your toes to the floor behind you.
Wow.
This pose helps massage the internal organs, including the intestines.
Those all sound like they would really get things moving. It's amazing how we can use our own bodies to promote healing.
It truly is. And remember, these holistic approaches are not just about addressing the symptoms of constipation, but about cultivating overall health and vitality.
It's about taking a proactive approach to our well-being. We've covered a lot of ground today. Any final thoughts on how our listeners can start incorporating these remedies into their lives?
It's all about finding what works best for you and making those gradual, sustainable changes. Start with one small step, whether it's adding more fiber to your diet or trying a new yoga pose.
That's great advice. Small changes can add up to big results over time. Now, before we wrap up, I'm curious about something you mentioned earlier, the mind-gut connection. It's fascinating how our thoughts and emotions can impact our digestion.
It really is. We often talk about having a gut feeling, and there's a reason for that. Our brains and our guts are in constant communication.
So how does this connection play into constipation specifically?
Well, when we're stressed, our bodies release hormones like cortisol,
Right.
which can disrupt the balance of our gut microbiome.
Okay.
This can lead to all sorts of digestive issues, including constipation. It's like our guts are holding on to that stress and tension.
So if stress can make constipation worse, does that mean relaxation can help relieve it?
Absolutely. When we're relaxed and happy, our bodies release hormones that have a calming effect on our digestive systems. It's like giving our guts a much-needed spa day.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So what are some practical ways we can tap into this mind-gut connection to promote better digestion and prevent constipation?
Mindfulness practices like meditation and deep breathing are incredibly helpful.
Okay.
They allow us to become more aware of our stress response and manage it in a healthier way.
I've definitely found that meditation helps me feel more grounded and less reactive to stress. What about other ways to de-stress and cultivate positive emotions?
Spending time in nature is a wonderful way to reconnect with yourself and de-stress, also doing things you enjoy. Whether it's reading, listening to music, or spending time with loved ones, can have a positive ripple effect on your overall well-being, including your gut health.
It's a reminder that taking care of our mental and emotional health is just as important as taking care of our physical health.
Exactly. It's all interconnected.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into natural constipation relief, what's the key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
Remember that you have the power to take control of your digestive health. By incorporating these natural remedies, listening to your body's signals, and cultivating a positive mindset, you can find lasting relief from constipation and experience the joy of a healthy, happy gut.
That's such an empowering message. It's a reminder that we're not at the mercy of our bodies. We can make choices that support our health and well-being. So to all our listeners out there, I encourage you to start incorporating some of these natural remedies and lifestyle tips into your daily routine. And remember, every step you take towards a healthier, happier gut is a step worth celebrating. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time on the Nature Cures podcast.